slides which have the monocot stems and the dicot stem cross sections. Look at that. Okay, we kept saying we can count the age of the plant or the tree, age of the tree as you count the annual rings. But to do that, to count the annual rings, you will have to chop down the tree. Is there any other way you can find out the age of the tree without chopping it down? Would you like to find out? So there is a formula, which is circumference of the tree divided by something. So find out and see what it is. So then you don't have to keep chopping trees to find out age of the tree. Is there any art activity that the children can do? One very interesting activity is bark tracing. Put a paper on the bark, use a crayon or a color pencil, and you rub over it. So you get the pattern of the bark. So they can see different kinds of barks like that. That could be an art activity. So different trees have different patterns of barks. They can be classified like that also. Some have spiny barks. Some have very patterned structure. Some are smooth. Have you seen plants like that, trees like that around you?
We've not paying attention.
Now we'll pay attention.
Now we will.
From today, we'll see at each and everything.
Like now, how ever since there is the leaf, we've suddenly all of us have started looking very closely at leaves.
Leaves,
Yes.
yeah.
You know, now I think we start paying attention to plants a lot more.
To each and every part of the plant.
Wait till you have the fruit, flower, and the flower, fruit, and seed. We'll appreciate trees a lot more when we do all that. Also, you can also find out, children can also find out the uses of bark. Of course, for the tree, it is protection for the tree, right? Other than that, do we use barks in any way?
Medicinal use.
Medicine.
Cinnamon, we use cinnamon.
Spices.
Yes, spices. Some of the barks are also used for making natural dyes for clothes, dyeing clothes.
With banana, we use for that rope kind of thing is made, right?
That you pull out that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
With the fiber. Yeah.
Food, so we use it for food as well. Then of course we said the trunk itself, we can use it for furniture. Then cork, the space between the annual rings, there you have the cork material that can be used to make different kinds of structures. Also the fungi that grow on certain plants and trees. So that can branch into that study of the fungus. There's this thing called, if you've gone to hill stations or places where there is minimum or zero pollution, most of these large trees, you'll see patches of white on them, which is called lichen or lichen, L-I-C-H-E-N. Those grow only in places where there's no pollution. So those grow on barks of certain trees, and those become indicators of pollution-free environments. That's something that the children can look at also. If you have an opportunity to go to places where there is absolutely minimum pollution, or something like this also. So this is a bark that I collected from Kodaikanal. Oh, there were so many there. So, I mean, I think the air was so pure that almost every bark had lichen on them, lichen on them.
Does aloe vera have a stem?
Aloe vera.
Hmm.
Point. Would you like to find out, Ram?
Okay.
Could it be modified? Or is the aloe vera itself a stem? Leads us to the next presentation. Okay, before that, we'll get into the next presentation is the two main types of stems.
Two types of?
Two main types of stems. Main types. Now, this presentation would be nice if you do it outdoors. This is something they would have done as follow-up, but now you are giving concrete terms and formalizing it. So take the children outdoors and look around. So before they go out, you go out and do a recce. Look around and see which ones you can show, because you need to show two types of stems, right? Two specimens. So if you look around and see, we notice that plants have undergone many experiments to come to what they are today. Sometimes we see some of the plants have green stems, which are soft. These are called herbaceous stems. The word comes from Latin, where herba means soft. Plants that have herbaceous stems usually have a shorter lifespan, and they do not grow very tall. Then point to a woody stem. A plant that has a plant or a tree that has a woody stem. And say these are called woody stems. These are stronger and grow quite tall. Then there are some plants which are in between herbaceous and woody. Those plants are called shrubs. They grow taller than the herbaceous stems, but not as tall as the woody stems. Their stems are harder and woodier just above the ground and softer towards the edges. Would you like to take a look around and see? Classify them into herbaceous, woody, and shrubs.
Harder above ground and softer
towards the edges, towards the top. Pretty much a simple presentation, no? You're just showing them live specimens and asking them to explore. Is that okay? Move on to the next one, quick one. Presentation is called How Liquids Move Through the Stem. How liquids move through the stem. Here you need a small beaker with colored water, some tissue paper, and a chart that's called stem as a siphon, S-I-P-H-O-N, siphon.
Ma'am, what is a siphon?
We'll see. We'll see the chart, you'll see what it is.
Can you spell it again, ma'am?
S-I-P-H-O-N, siphon. So you gather your group, have your material with you, and you say, we see how stems carry, we've seen how stems carry water to the leaves, through the pipes and all that we said. Have you ever wondered, when you have very tall plants or trees, like the redwood trees, which are about 300 feet above ground, how do you think the water is carried that high? Any guesses? No? So let's see. So the cells in the stems and the root are made in a very peculiar way, very particular way, that when they absorb water, the water is prevented from, so when the roots absorb water, they can only go up, they can't go back. When they go through the stem, they can only travel up, they can't come down. So as the cell fills up water, it fills up to its maximum until the cell cannot hold the water anymore. This water is then pushed on to the next cell, the immediate neighboring cell.
Ma'am, can you please repeat? Ma'am? The water fills up the cell. What happens?
So let's imagine this is one cell. And the water has come and filled up this cell. Filled it up to the maximum where the cell cannot hold anymore. So what this cell does is, it moves that water into the cell which is above it, its neighboring cell. It moves it up. Got it? So now this cell is filling up with water. What does that help? It will help the bottom cell to take in some more water,
Some
because
more water.
it pulls the water
Pulls
up.
it up.
It pulls some more water. Now this is heavy, this is full of water, this is full of water. This will again move it up to the next cell. Empties itself, takes it from this cell. This is emptied, it takes, again, it draws water. Understood how it moves? So there's no moving back. There's always moving up, moving forward. So once they are free to absorb more water, they do that. And they push the water again to the neighboring cell. That neighboring cell fills up. It pushes water to the cell above it. So this goes on and on and on till water reaches the leaf. Every leaf. This is called root pressure. Now this root pressure itself is not enough. It's not enough for the stem to carry water. So you remember how the leaf is giving away water through the stomata? So as it gives it away, the leaf is again losing water and it is thirsty again. It needs water again. So these thirsty cells reach out for water from their neighboring cells. So between the root pressure and evaporation that is happening from the leaf, the stem is able to move water up to the leaves. It acts like a water pump.
Can you repeat from the stomata part?
Yeah, one second. Share this. So you have the leaf, and the leaf is giving away moisture. You've seen that, right? The leaf gives away moisture from the stomata. So as it is giving away moisture, the cell is again becoming dry and thirsty. And the cell needs more water. Where will the cell get? The cell in the leaf needs more water. Where will it get it from? From all the way from the root, right? So you have the root that is absorbing water and the stem that is pushing this water from one cell to another, one cell to another, one cell to another, like a pump, like a siphon, and sending it to every leaf, to every cell of that leaf. And as the leaf, now if imagine this is a leaf, this cell bulges up with water, it moves it to the next cell, then the next cell, the next cell, next cell, next cell, till the tip of the leaf. So every cell in that leaf is full of water now. The excess cannot go back, right? What happens to the excess?
Evaporates.
Evaporates, exactly. So between the root pressure that is pulling water from the soil and pushing it into the cells and evaporation, the stem acts like one pump, a siphon. And hence it is able to move that water up to every part of the leaf, every part of the plant and every part of the leaf. This is called this is where we call the stem acts like a siphon. So you see in the chart, would somebody like to discuss this chart, explain this chart? What do we have here underground?
We have the roots
The roots,
that are absorbing water from the soil.
they're seeking water, remember? Oh, you didn't do the roots.
We
Sorry.
haven't done.
You haven't done those. So they are absorbing water. Yeah, we'll stay with that. They're absorbing water and taking them up from one cell to another cell, another cell to another cell. Right? At the same time, this leaf, which had water before, is evaporating. That water is evaporating. So this has become thirsty again. It needs water. Where will that water come from? The root has water. And this also needs water. Here is where the stem acts like a siphon. Pulls it up like a pump. It pumps it, takes it up, and distributes to all parts of the plant. All the way till tip of every leaf. And if the leaf is full of water, then it gives away the water from the stomata, called evaporation or transpiration. What do we call it?
Transpiration.
So in the stem, all the cells are working really hard to pump water from leaves. So even in the tallest of trees, this happens. You see how much plants work? How much these trees are working? Throughout, all the time. We can also see this in this demonstration. Now you have a beaker of colored water. Take the tissue paper, roll it up to make one edge very pointed. Just dip that pointed edge on the surface of the tissue paper, on the surface of the water. What do you think what do you think will happen?
Ma'am, the tissue will absorb
Gets
all the
absorbed.
water and the color is going to get it on the tissue.
Exactly.
So, ma'am, like just a thing, like today itself, like, we were doing an experiment with our students. So, like, the color exchanges rainbows. So, like, we take glasses and then we put tissue paper and it absorbs water. So, I think the same concept is there here. Yeah.
So this movement, see, I did not, so basically you did not put the entire tissue inside,
Tissue.
only the tip and to the surface, yet it absorbed. This is called capillary movement. And this is what happens in the roots and stems as well. There's another term called Turgor pressure. Turgor, Turgor. Turgor pressure, which is a phenomena of water transfer through the stem. Would you like to find out more about it? So for your file as well, now that's the end of the presentation. For your file, I'd like you to research on these terms and write down for yourself, okay? Which is Turgor pressure. One is Turgor pressure, what it is. Look up for capillary movement, osmosis. This process was osmosis, right? Moving from one membrane, from one cell to the other, osmosis. Reverse osmosis. Diffusion. 5 terms. You can make a table saying resources for the facilitator or notes for the facilitator. Please find out the definitions of these. And you can put them in your chart, in your file, sorry. Apart from this, you also had the assignment of finding pictures as examples. Examples of herbaceous roots, woody root, well, sorry, herbaceous stems, woody stems. Climbers, tendrils. So 2 assignments for your file. And please, if you can, please set up the experiments and try it out for yourselves also. There's a little bit more for this chapter. We'll do it in the next class. It's already 6. Leave it for the next class. Any doubts so far? Any clarifications?
What does the pith do in the plant, if you know?
The pith, the innermost part.
Yeah,
You're saying it as a follow-up question?
I'm asking you, what does it do? I mean, does it have a function?
I guess since it is the innermost part, I'm guessing it gives a structure to the same thing that we spoke about. No, it gives stability and structure.
Well, but it's a hollow stuff.
Because it is there, around it is where the anchorings are growing, right? That's the basis of the structure. The pith. There may be a more articulate explanation to it. You can find out.
And we have the pith in an orange in citrus fruits, no, ma'am.
Sorry.
We have the pith in citrus fruits. That's the white part, no? That has a different function because the softest part is inside and it acts as the inner, like an inner membrane which protects it.
Exactly. So there is a different pith in the seed. Yeah,
So it'd be interesting to find out.
absolutely.
No?
Sorry, I'm just going off video. I'm right here. I'm going off video, but yeah, we can discuss. Yeah. Anything else that we can?
Ma'am, thank you, ma'am. We'll take leave.
Okay, yeah, sure, please. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you, ma'am.
So
So much, ma'am.
thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, I
Thank
have
you,
a
ma'am.
question which
Thank
is
you,
not
ma'am.
related to botany, ma'am.
Sorry, Suchi?
I have a question not related to botany. May I ask it now?
Sure. Yeah.
I just want to know, ma'am, are we done with word study too, or we still have something more?
No, we're done, I think. No, we're done with word study.
We're done with word study.
We did acronyms.
Yes.
We did all that,
Initials.
right? Yeah,
and all. That's the end of it, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
You.
Bye, ma'am. You have a nice weekend.
You too. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
You too, ma'am.